Hey guys, welcome back to Envision Prototypes. As you can see, we've got the car, the shell, mounted on the chassis a lot lower than the last time you saw it. I got looking at it and it looked too stock the first time around. Yeah, I knew it was going to squat about almost 3 inches, but it was still sitting a bit high, and especially when I jumped in the car, we had way too much headroom. I guess, well, these cars are meant for guys that had hats on back in the day, but I don't wear a hat, so it doesn't matter to me. We can bring the roof down, and we will bring the roof down. But after we get this body structured with the chassis, and that's what I'm working on right now. I needed to gain more access into this area here so that that piece there, I can get that rocker slid up inside. So a lot has happened since the last time you saw this project. We've got the front post fixed, the B post welded to the chassis, as well as this area up in here. That's been welded to the INFINITI chassis as well. Just so we can start solidifying things and open the doors, because I need to get these doors open so I can get that rocker up inside. Next to impossible to slide it in any other way. And to reduce a bit of the mass at the front, because it looked a bit front heavy, we went ahead and we cut about 1.25 inches off the bottom of the door, a taper. Most of this was rotted anyway, so it went basically chopped 1.5 inches to nothing at this point here, off. And that lightened the front. I can put the front fender on. Okay, let's throw this up here. And there, that's close enough. You can see how low, we're down almost 5 inches, way below the INFINITI's floor pans. We don't want to be catching dirt, gravel, whatever on the roads. Roadkill, that'd be terrible. Get caught up inside here and then start smelling. We don't want that. So we're going to raise that up a bit. And we're going to basically have a 3-inch rocker, front to back, on this car. That's what you see over there. But before we got to that, we had to play with the profiles a bit. And I'll show you what I mean about that. Originally, or should I say in the last episode, when we lowered the shell of the 51 onto the INFINITI's chassis, we had it so that the doors, the bottom of the door, those doors have been cut off already, was almost even with the top of the sill. It looked good, a lot easier to fabricate those pieces for that area. However, it was just too high. Like I said, when I got in the car, there was way too much headroom, and I'm not sure if you can see it, everything's covered up, but we've got the top of the windshield area almost resting. There's about 1/2 inch between the top of the INFINITI dash and the 51's windshield area. And those grills to defrost the glass almost line up with the INFINITI's. We brought things in so close that it almost matches. So we'll have to make a little cosmetic piece to go up in there, but that's much, much later. Right now we need to structure this body to make sure that nothing moves for the next stage. So coming back to the rockers, started bending up a bunch of preliminary profiles of what the new rocker, after we dropped the shell down that much further onto the chassis, would look like. And I think that was the first one I just bent up with a pair of duckbill pliers, and that basically sat right like that. It's just a rough kind of visual, let's see what we can do. But as you can see, we came short of the pinch weld that's up underneath this area here. There's a pinch weld under here, and we need to mate up with that. So this was garbage, but we didn't waste a sheet of steel, just a piece of 20 gauge that we just bent up really quick. And then we started playing around with a few other shapes, and as you can see, this just turned to heck in the handbasket. So that's obviously garbage. And after a few more iterations, we came up with this piece here, and that's what you saw on the bench. This will take and mount to the top pinch weld, as well as the bottom pinch weld. And if I can close the door with that there, you can see that, ignore this rusty spot here, that'll be fixed later. That comes in to within 3/16 of the bottom edge of that door, which is perfect. And our rocker rolls down. We have about a 3.5 inch roll that comes down to the bottom, and it's gonna mimic the original, just a little higher. It's gonna look good. So, let's go around the car and see what else. Uh-oh, I'm stuck. Brand new shirt. All right, let's go around the car and I'll show you what else we've been working on. As I mentioned, bottom of the doors were cut off. Just finished cutting off the bottom of these quarters. There are pinholes through there. You couldn't see them from the outside, but when you look from the inside out, you can see the little pinholes. And to fix that, you're further ahead to just chop it off and start fresh. Everything's been epoxy primered up to there. I have to touch that up before we do the final installation. Let's focus the camera here. Okay, so this cardboard template is a structural web, the interweb that connects the 51's shell to the INFINITI's chassis. It's going to be joined along the window line of the 51, down along the seal area of the INFINITI, top of the sill of the INFINITI, and we added a structural post between the sill and the 51's doorpost there, just to tie everything in and make it rigid. You don't want this body flopping from side to side every time you slam the door. And that web is created out of 18 gauge sheet metal, and we're going to create a little detail in there and leave that as a solid panel for now on a series of screws so we can take it out. Later on when we go to do the quarters, I need access from both sides to work the welds. So got the passenger side done. That's temporarily fixed in place, and as you can see, it lines up really well all the way around. Still needs to be welded, but I need to be able to remove that later on so I can get in there and do the work on these. Right now I just want to solidify everything and be able to open the doors. This one, made sure the post was welded here at the bottom, at the front. These doors were welded shut at one point. I had them open and then I welded them shut again to get the alignment correct, cut them apart, and now we have a door that opens up really well. So you can see our gap is consistent all the way down. Now these never fit properly from the factory, so we're gonna have a little bit of work to kind of adjust things. It gets pushed in there. There's a bit of lead up in here, so it gets a bit snug right in there, as well as this funny looking area. That's all lead, it has to be all melted out. We're gonna do that another day. Right now, like I said, we want to take and get the rocker slid in place, attach it so that we can join the quarters, the posts to that rocker, and be able to take and get this car on the ground and have a look at it. And one thing you might notice or not notice is we've removed the structural supports. So a lot of the body's been structured to the INFINITI. It's not going anywhere. Along the front there, like I said, the post. So it's at this point that we could go ahead and pull those supports out. The car did drop quite a bit, and it's going to drop a lot more as soon as we start getting the interior and whatever else into the car. We don't have the front sheet metal on yet, so that's going to drop a bit more. Stock ride height was about 5 inches. It's a comfortable ride height, especially here in Canada. So I want to build this as a driver and not as a trailer queen, where you have to watch every inch when you're driving it around. It's nice to have it, slam nice and low, but there's some pretty deep potholes here. So, especially in Niagara Falls. Don't know why. Anyway, let's see if we can wiggle that rocker into place and see how that goes. Everything's been primered from the inside, epoxy primered, so none of that's going to rust. Now we can go ahead and get these on the car. I hope. I like doing things as one section. Sometimes that turns into a bit of a hassle. It's good there. This has to slide in up underneath. Yeah. Roll that up a little bit higher. Roll this back inside. Oh, that's getting closer. I should roll this edge up. I don't know if you guys can see that. We would need to spot weld that to that area there. I'm gonna cut away at the front. It's not bad though. That's the thing. It's so close. If I had another set of hands and a pair of hands, it would help. Yeah, let's bend that before this jumps into place. I've got that primered, so that's good, and we're just about there. Okay, went through and punched a series of holes across the top and the bottom, so that's all set to go. Let's see if we can get this in for the final time. You know how many times you tried fitting this? Trimming, adjusting, until we get it to fit perfectly. I'm going to do a slight adjustment on the front. Basically going to take and cut that back about 1/4 inch where I had the original line. I try to get things to fit as tightly and as neatly as possible. That's close there. I'm just afraid we get it snapped in and I need to make an adjustment and we can't get it off. It's happened before. Okay, we need to open the bottom up a little bit more and that should do the trick. Okay, sometimes I'll take a flange or whatever, roll it out of the way, and as this panel's going in, I'll unroll it and bring it back into place, which is what I have to do down in under here. Because this post comes in and down and mates up with that side rocker, the original rocker, the INFINITI, and it's kind of interfering. I need this to slide up in behind. Take 58. Trial 58, whatever you want to call it. See what I mean? So now as this thing is going in, we're going to have to flatten that part that I rolled out of the way or rolled in. Basically, I'm giving it a start to roll it up underneath, and that worked out well. We're binding there. It has to be opened up. And the front is coming in where it needs to. I might bump the front a little bit, give it a start as well. It'll probably fall out when I go to hit it. Wow. I don't want to cut this back too far because I took a measurement. That should be where it is. I think if this jumps in, we won't get it out. Okay. Now, this is the tab I was talking about. I rolled it back, and now we're gonna have to roll it ahead to fit into there, and this will jump into place. Once we figure out one side, the other side should go a little smoother. I hope. It will. Now, that's looking good there. This needs to come out another 3/4 of an inch outward. So guess what? We get to drop the rocker again. Will 60 be the magic number? Looks to be. So we're gonna have to make an adjustment to the front post. This back area is coming in well. Let's see, a bit of a space there, but that will be okay. Once we get that into place, that's holding me up over there. Okay, so 60 was not the magic number. think we're getting good at taking this in and out. Oh yeah. It's coming closer. We're within about 3/8 of an inch of meeting up with this pinch weld. This radius right in here is holding it from moving in. So we're gonna have to make an adjustment there. Let's try a block of wood, because that'll get welded and blend in really nice. That corner's coming in, this is gonna come up. And this is also an important area right here, where this comes down, it mates up with that rocker seal seam perfectly for the seal. We'll make a corner here to fit that in. This will get radiused up. We're almost there, guys. And sometimes you need a friendly persuader. I don't know if you saw that jump up. It's 18 gauge, so it didn't dent it. And you're distributing the force over a larger area. Instead of using a small hammer or whatever, ball peen, get something with a bit of heft to it. You know, you can play with one of these. It's 10-pound sledge. I think we're there. Yep, we're there. See, this loosened off. Alrighty. See, it fell off again, so that means we're gaining. You won't see any of that. That's going to be a rubber seal on there, door sill, cover plate. Try to pinch the panels in such a way that it doesn't damage the outside finish. Like, look at that, that's beautiful. The bottom still has to be connected, yes, but let's work this top in and get it in, jam it in here really good. So we have to make an adjustment. It doesn't want to come out. We can actually close the door. See how, oh my goodness gracious. Look at that space there. That's got to be up within 3/16 like I showed you earlier. We're not done yet. Not always sunshine and rainbows when you're building your car. There's a little bit of work involved. I wish this was TV. We'd be done in 5 minutes. Oh yeah. Look at that. Just came up into place. That's good there. Close this again. Okay, no problem. When you're dealing with a rusty heap like this, it takes a little bit of finessing with a hammer sometimes to get things to work out. I cut the bottom of the door off, but I couldn't quite get in there. I didn't want to take the door off. I couldn't quite get in there with the grinder to cut that. So, well, we just moved it. That's got to come up. That's a 1/4 inch there. That's fine. Throw it on the floor so I can kneel on it. bottom of this door has been kicked in a bit, so we can do that. That'll align there. We got to come up with the rocker just a little bit more. You see this rusting here? That's actually lead on top, sheet metal underneath, and it's rusting between the two surfaces. A lot of times guys say, oh, Bondo is terrible because, well, you get moisture between the two. You still get moisture between the lead and the metal. If it ever gets exposed, opened up. We'll have to take and heat that corner up, melt it, and get rid of that. That's looking good. I'd like to bring that up like that. See, one little thing right there, and that's coming in quite nicely. Yeah, this quarter panel comes in, it dives in. When we block this panel or when we do the metal work on this, we're gonna make sure that these panels flow seamlessly from front to back. We'll probably have a bit of a flare over the rear wheel. It's kind of a swelling. Okay, we're pretty consistent from front to back. Okay, I think we're gonna get a little help from our friend Jack. We can't get a bottle jack in here. Let's try a floor jack. I'm gonna brace it to the underside here. You want to distribute the force, you don't want to push in one spot. The back is good. We need like a putty knife or something to slip the lower joint in. That's coming in good there. Wow, it's close. Do you hear that? That's the sound of the rocker panel sliding past the original pinch weld of the Infiniti. I wasn't kidding about tight fitment. Bingo. She just slid all the way home. A little bit of sweat. I was a little concerned. I think it's rubber mallet time. See, our gap closed up a little bit. That's okay. I'd sooner have it tighter than more open. Okay, so I've repositioned things a little bit here. And instead of pushing with the box tubing member on the underside of the rocker main section, we'll do that after, I went ahead and got a piece of wood in and pushed up just in this diagonal area here, just to push the back up so I can grab the pinch weld between the Infiniti and this rocker piece we fabricated. And we get some clamps on here. One there. On there. Okay, so I'm gonna tack that. And then we'll reposition the jack a little bit to the front, a little bit to the back, probably the back first, and then to the front. This tack here, you might have to cut that. We'll see how that goes. But I want to get that pinch weld up inside so that, well, it doesn't, so we can actually weld it. Okay, so I've just finished tacking that. I'll come down here. I don't know if I can get the jack back far enough. Okay, always got to be cautious when you're working around stuff like this. The jack could tip out, the block could pop out, get your arm stuck in there, so you can come down on top of your arm. You got to be careful. Well, that gap closed up a little more. I think that tack back there, we'll have to take and get rid of that. Right now, let's get this front done, clamped, welded. Let these vice grips go. Get this jack turned around, jack the back up, and that should be it for this rocker. We have the top spot welds, plug welds to do, and we're done. See, the door comes into there. So that gap is looking really good. When we do the new bottom of the door, we'll have a nice consistent straight edge. This has been mangled, bumped, you know, caved in, so it's not really a representative of what we want. We're close. Something a little bit shorter in here. Let's see how that looks. We got to go up a little more. Okay. A little bit more. Okay, we'll have to dress those welds up after. Let's close this and let's drop this. Well, doesn't that look good? All right, we have a little more welding to do, but I think we're gonna move on to the interior panel, the web on the driver's side. I'd like to get that in, at least pinned in place, and then we can basically move the whole operation to the other side of the car and finish that side off. I'm out of breath. Hey, we have some more welding to do under here, but I think we're gonna get the car up a little bit higher, make it a little more comfortable so it's not catching sparks in my teeth. And one other thing I'd like to do is replace this piece with this. Just put this back for now. Yeah, just like that, see? Problem solved, cleaned up, and we don't have to look into that big gaping hole. And you probably thought I was kidding. No, I'm just gonna tack this in place. One tiny tack there. And one tiny tack here. I moved. I'm trying to be accurate. That's it. And I'm not wasting any more time on that. I just wanted to cover that up. You'll see why later. Just like the passenger side, we got the driver's side here. I want to take and indent this center section, and then we can get this panel in the car. So if we were building an apocalypse car, that panel I just stuck in there on the quarter, that'd be it. That's it. Done, right? Wouldn't have to paint it either. But anyway, just keep moving ahead. Ooh, slippery. It's 18 gauge, so it's pretty heavy. If this was 22 or 20, it'd be a little bit easier to roll it through. First time is always the worst because you're breaking a path in the sheet metal. Second time, apply a little more pressure and just wheel it out. Following basically a railroad path. There we go. And there we have it. One indented side panel section. Let's go get this in the car. I'm sorry I can't be more accommodating and open that door. We're still welded shut until I finalize some more welding over there. But like I said, I'm gonna get this panel in here and then we can proceed onto that side. The gears are turning. I saw a few things I want to address before we get too far into the interior. So just checking a few things here. We have a little space here that we addressed by adding more material to the actual panel. This is going to be sitting a bit of an angle downward. Cardboard kind of does its own thing. You'll see when we get this 18 gauge sheet in here, it's not going to be as, we won't be able to manipulate it as easily. So anyway, that's what it started out as. We'll kiss this goodbye. And slide this thing in here. And I see one little issue already. That corner has to go on top. We have to notch this a little bit more here. And we may have to, no, that feels good. That's good. Okay, let's make those adjustments. Wrong way. I want the material to flow outward when I'm cutting it. This way. Just like that. I apologize for all the noise. We'll get there, but now it actually sits where it needs to. We still have to punch holes in that flange as well as down that length there. And the bottom, well, that's going to get welded to the sill. We'll have stitch welds across the back here in this area. But for now, we'll get some screws in just to hold it. Okay, one more screw and this panel is mocked up for now. Get a screw in there. We'll have to roll that edge in, take care of the welding along that later. Like I said, I want to be able to pull this out, do the metal work on the quarter panel, and then reinstall this for the final time after we punch some holes. The backside's been primered, so this will get done when the interior is done. All right, guys, so that panel installed, we can go ahead and start on some more modifications on the exterior of the body. If we were building a rat rod or an apocalypse build, we'd be almost done. A few more tacks, and that's it. And we'd just leave everything the way it is, leave that in bare metal, and just let it rust. But we're not doing one of those builds. And as you can see, we've got everything pretty much finished. Everything's spot welded or plug welded along the top there, as well as the bottom there. It's all ground smooth, cleaned up. The posts are welded in, front and back. All these here. This is the additional post we added to solidify this post. It basically ties in into the sill down below, and then this radius is up to finish the look. There'll be a cosmetic panel that goes in and cleans that up. Now, as for the ends, I haven't finished that. We need to determine how large of a wheel opening we need for this car. We don't want it to look too small with the larger wheels, so when we get it on the ground, we'll stand back, take a look at it, and determine the opening from that point. Front as well. So that has to be capped off, bring the post down, finish it off. Bottom of the doors need to be finished. This door is scraping a little bit. We'll have to take and remove that structure that's underneath there, reconfigure it so that it's up a little bit higher to correspond with this sill. But as you can hear, it's very, very solid. So that's done. Our door gaps are spot on all the way through until we get to about here. And since I did cut that open, that kind of moved back. And as I mentioned before, this is lead in here. That's why you see this rust kind of creeping out from underneath there. We'll have to pull that lead out, melt it out, and go down to bare metal, find out exactly where we have to be. We're going to be doing some serious work on these quarter panels. There are little perforations in this area here. Not sure how high they go because of the undercoating. So not to take a chance, I might just take and chop those quarters off. And here we have the interior, rear. Those areas up in there have to be finished yet. Still a ways to go, but we have this panel on the driver's side in, as well as the passenger side. So that's all supported. She sounds really, really solid. The body is starting to have a nice ring to it, not just like a wet noodle. And the gaps look pretty decent. It's a little bit tight there, but again, we have lead or something going on there. So you can see how much of a difference the welds are right there at the top. We had to realign everything. Now, this door feature is about 3/16, quarter inch higher than the quarter. Once you get the glass in and everything in, she will settle down. So you have to take that into account if you're working on yours. Don't line them up ahead of time, and then after you get the glass packs in and the handles and all the stuff in the door, have it settle down. You have to make an adjustment there. We're still working on loosening up the bolts at the front. Probably need some heat to get those broken loose. They've been there for a long, long time. And it appears as though somebody's tried to get them out. I've been soaking them with penetrating oil from the backside. We'll have a cover that goes in through here, so you won't be able to tell that you have two different bodies here. Like I mentioned earlier in the other videos, I want this to look like a factory-built vehicle when we're done. So yeah, see all these holes in here? So we might even bring that quarter right up and change it up higher, because you'll keep chasing stuff like this. You fill one, fill another one, and who knows on the next one. They had that undercoating on the backside, and that held moisture, and that just made a mess of the quarters. Let's go to the passenger side here. That post is welded. And going with a full-length rocker really solidifies everything together. Ties everything in. You're not piecing one over there, a cap, a section here. No, you have one nice straight line right through. Simple, clean, effective. And this door again was cut off at the bottom, just like that. Not too pretty, so we'll have to fix that up. And this is the undercoating I was talking about. See, it's all peeling off, and somewhere under there could be pinholes because there's so many gaps for water and moisture to get in. We'll see what we do with these doors. It's all tied in at the front, finished. Back in here, again we radiused up. It has to be welded yet. I forgot that. But it's been a long day. Went through, cleaned everything up. Didn't think I'd get this done today, but well, got her done, and everything's ground underneath right there. So we're not going to bother cleaning that up. It's welded, it's finished. We'll epoxy prime it once we have the quarters off and seal it up. So, and again, we have a really nice gap. It comes down all the way through. This side's a little bit better than the other side. Okay. Yeah, that's a real sore spot. So again, we'll see what happens. Either we put a section in there or just replace everything. There's some serious pitting right there. Over there. I don't normally lean on car bodies, but in this case, if I let go, this door pops open. And that's because we've got a seal here that's not sitting in the right spot. But we'll address that later on. That little grinding noise you heard, that was that structure that's kind of touching the rocker in the front. But there you go. We got both rockers in place. I didn't think we'll do that today. It's been a long day, but everything turned out really nice, really clean. I'm really happy with this. So with everything structured, car shell attached to chassis, we're all set to go to start the next stage of the changing this body around a little bit, giving it a personal touch. And that's what guys do. When they customize a car, they kind of put their personality into it. And with this one here, I hope we are successful in the next real major stage. And I'll leave that for the next video. While we were working on this car, you may have been looking at this frame table and thinking, is it really necessary to have a device such as this when you're doing a project such as this? And I say yes. We want to ensure that everything is square, everything is aligned properly so that we don't have any trouble later on. You might not see it right now, but when we start attaching the front fender, the hood, things have to align properly. And if they're not, if say the car is skewed to one side and one side's different than the other, it's going to pose a lot of problems. Now, you may not have access to I-beams and stuff like that. Go to your local lumber yard, get some 2x10s, 2x12s, scab them together, basically build a box. And on that box, get some structural box tubing, some 2" by 3" or 2" by 4", run them across, build a platform, level it all out. Then you bring your project in, set it on top, and you'll be way ahead of the game in terms of ensuring that you have a nice square platform to work from. So anyway, enough of that. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell up there. Give you a notification next time we have a video coming up. And I don't think you want to miss the next video on this project. It's going to be interesting. Take care.